0, 1. Let's get started.
All right, everyone. So in today's episode, I'm using my S&P professional day trading strategy on your stock of choice, and that's going to be NVDA. So let's see how we can make you some cash trading this asset, okay? Now, where we last left off, we did talk about some of the variations, and we did get the start of that rotation coming back down, highlighted in red. But as you can see, we did bounce back up. So it's definitely credence to make a new video to see exactly where we're going, okay? Now, what is happening overall right now, to be frank, is the fact that now we are kind of in a different range, okay? So the prevailing range will often have to be used than the prior one. So because we have a new range, we have to do a new setup. So with that being said, we can figure out the midpoint now and the expansions going above and below to figure out the deviations of support and resistance, okay? So this being support and this most clearly being defined above now as resistance, okay? So it should be pretty similar to what we talked about yesterday or last time, just in a different formation, okay? So again, rotation from highs, lows, and highs. So we're still not out of this outskirts of this range rotation, which basically kind of segues into the video that we mentioned last time. So we still are expecting this market to first rotate back to the downside in a variation looking something similar to this, okay? It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. There are several variations that this thing can form into. But the main idea is the fact that we are looking for rotation coming back to the downside, okay? Now, other than that, we could see a breakout that does go higher in a cascading effect, but it would have to be pretty obvious ultimately, in which we can look to now buy dips to go back up to the high, okay? Now, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we should be expecting a bounce off of this low. So definitely have this anchored into a buying opportunity if we do find ourselves going back down to this low, which is situated right here at this 176 level, okay? So these are the primary paths that we need to keep on our radar for the upcoming week on NVIDIA. Now, there is one more variation that we do need to be aware of other than just these ones that we talked about, okay? And that's the last one, of which, like we mentioned before, ranges can pretty much form at any point. So if you do notice the fact that we only come down to a certain level and then we basically bounce up and we start to barcode right in this area, then you now know that we have to define yet another range and then look to try to play that accordingly, okay? Now, this can actually occur a little bit higher than this particular spot. So just be aware that at any point you find barcoding, okay, look to change the overall game plan to going with that barcode's momentum. So because this is a bullish barcode, a bullish range, we can now look to find a more shallow pullback and then ultimately look for the market to go back up and retest into this prior high, okay? Again, we'll have to define this as a brand new range, just like we did down here, but trading it is basically the same, okay? So those are pretty much the variations you need to be aware of, everyone, coming into next week's market session. Now, if you want to see me day trade this exact same system on the S&P 500's futures, then come on back here at 9:30, where you can see this exact thing played out in action, okay? And for any extra updates and a more advanced look at NVIDIA, be sure to look down at my Discord, in which you'll see updates posted there, okay? So thanks for watching, everyone. See you on the next candle.
I know it's hard to trust so-called gurus. That's why I live stream my trades every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. The live stream isn't for you to copy my trades, it's to show proof and credibility that my strategy works. The stream is delayed and muted to protect my edge. But if you want to see everything unmuted and in real time, check out the Discord and Patreon links below. You'll get exclusive perks and the opportunity to learn the system for yourself, so you don't miss great opportunities just like this one.
All right, everyone. So you're going to be seeing a trade that I just recently took live during the stream, and ultimately you can be a part of this too, so make sure you look down below. But when taking a look at the trade that we just recently took here, it was the objective coming in was the fact that we had a really big move push to the upside, okay? Now, this big move to the upside was basically counterplayed by a pullback, and subsequently our entry was to look to get in right above a couple pivots to retest the prior high, okay? So what you're seeing right now is the replay of my actual entry, which was right here at this 68.1925 area. And again, ultimately, like I was saying before, our main objective from this standpoint is to look to try to retest this prior high back at 68, let's just say 38. So what we are looking at right now is my volatility based stop loss in perfect action, okay? Every trade and every day has a different stop loss based on the volatility of the day specific. So when taking a look at this trade specifically, you can see that we came relatively close to getting stopped out, okay? However, we did not get stopped out, and we ultimately reversed just like we were expecting. Now, obviously a bit deeper of a correction, but everything was within the wheelhouse of what we were expecting. And as you can soon see here in just a few seconds, we ended up getting that first target as it hits right there. And then with a little bit more patience, we did end up getting the second target as well. Now just be aware, after you get your first target, you do want to stop the risk, which is why we did pull the stop up to right around and or above our entry pivot, okay? Now from this standpoint, again, we were just waiting, being patient. And I was referencing in this part of the video what we talked about in our afternoon game plan videos, okay? I was basically saying that we were looking at this in terms of that green case scenario that we mentioned on our nightly recap videos, and that we were essentially looking for a continuation going higher, okay? Now we kind of phased that back to where we were. We did have that bigger move that went up, and now this is the three-legged pullback, and again, the retest to the high. Now, at the very least, I am expecting it to retest the high and potentially continue going higher, which is why we have those targets above us, okay? But in essence, we ended up getting that next target with a bit of patience. Definitely some patience was required. And then we ended up tightening up our stop loss and then getting trailed out without hitting the extension, okay? Now, all in all, this was a $2,500 trade. So if you want to be a part of the situation just like this, then be sure to look down below for the Discourse Size Patreon links, or come and join the muted, delayed live stream every 9:30 here on the YouTube channel.